Welcome to Pinhole Quilting. Good afternoon. We are here at our Pinvin Pershore Pinhole Quilting showroom. It's Friday afternoon, it's 3 p.m. and Pete has just literally walked back through the door, which is brilliant because he's the cameraman and Mark was willing to step in, which is brilliant, but Pete's here. So we are going to use Pete and he's going to answer any questions you might have by looking at his laptop.
I will in a moment. Yes, so I'm just back from Brighton, which is 4 hours drive from here. I've been dismantling one of our pre-loved Avantis that's sold, bringing it back here to the showroom, and we're going to be packing it up next week and sending it to its new owner on the Isle of Skye.
Isle of Skye?
Just one of those services that we provide.
Isle of Skye. Fantastic.
Isle of Skye, yes.
Wow. What a perfect thing to be doing on the Isle of Skye in the winter. It's a beautiful area. I did do a bit of the Coolin Ridge many years ago. Beautiful, beautiful area. And Rasay, I have a friend who runs the outdoor Rasay House. Big plug for Dave, who runs the Rasay House, which is just north of Skye. And you can get the ferry. Well, less said about the ferry issue, the better. Anyway, we've been busy this week, haven't we, Pete? You've been here, there and everywhere. I've just been here and we've been running lots of workshops and seeing lots of our customers and they've been inspired, and that's what it's about. It's about the community, it's about people meeting each other. I heard lots of people swapping details and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. In fact, Carolyn and I were remarking on how much a part of these workshops that element is. Oh, there's flies. I'm being dive bombed. It's because I got a cup of tea. I keep getting in my tea. So we're delighted that so many people came because it's a brilliant thing. We include it as many, with many of our sales, including the pre-love sales. And the reason is that you can make the most of your long arm quilting if you know what you're doing, if you've got the confidence and everything else. And people, when we do the initial session, actually up on the board are some of the things that we do at the beginning. We ask people, what are your main things you need to get out of today? And so many of them are common to many of our classes, particularly obviously the foundation workshop. It's all about getting that bobbin tension right, the tension of the machine. It translates the tension of you. And we're trying to reduce your tension, not always to reduce just the machine tension, but also yours. And that's what the aim of it is. All of those points that we put on the board, we review them in the final tea break and just go through and make sure that we've covered the things that we need to cover. So I hope that everybody got home safely. There were some very well-traveled people from all over the UK, and it was just lovely to see you. Right, and then I'll talk about the landscape workshop in just a minute.
Shall we say hello to a few people?
Yay!
Right, we've got first online today was Helen and Jeff up in Northumberland.
Oh yes, Helen and Jeff.
Up in the northeast also.
Hello.
Val Brooks.
Val, also in the northeast.
And Carol Watson.
Also in the northeast. Our northeast contingent. Strong representation for the northeast of England.
Karen from Anglesey.
Hello, Karen.
We had Sarah from Anglesey on one of the courses this week.
With her stepdaughter, who was lovely and had a very, very traditional Welsh name.
Julia up in Northumberland, who I've just arranged a date to install her new Amara. Coming up very soon, Julia. Carolyn James, who's that?
I don't know who she is.
So Carolyn's back home in Suffolk after being here teaching for us this week.
Carolyn who?
Thank you, Carolyn. Don't diss Carolyn, we need her.
No, I'm not going to diss Carolyn. I was just checking. It wasn't an alternative Carolyn James.
No, it wasn't. It's the Carolyn James.
The Carolyn James. Carolyn, have you seen how many views there have been on your video where you got all Essex and emotional? Which was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I love the fact that I managed to capture the reactions of people as they saw you were getting kind of quite emotional about the fact that the results of the workshop, the landscape workshop on Wednesday was brilliant. You did it so well. I'm going to say this publicly. You did it so well. You coped with having domestic quilters, the stationary long arms and the movable long arms. Great preparation, fantastic kits full of goodies that just, meant that people could find all the fabrics they wanted. And we learnt so many techniques. So thank you so much for your input. It was fun. We're going to do it again. It was that much fun. We're going to do it again. And we're going to do another class as well. It's in the diary, isn't it, Carolyn? It's in the diary.
You're going to talk about that later, aren't you?
She's nailed me down, Pete. We've got dates in the diary. And also all the way through for foundation workshops next year. So, yeah.
So I'm going to say hello to a few more people.
Cool.
Glenys down in Kent.
Oh, yes. Hi, Glenys.
Di in Bristol, who was also up at a course this week.
Yeah, Di did great.
Anne from Drogheda Quilters in Ireland.
Yay.
Then we got Claire Millard.
Who's from Drogheda?
Anne Colburn.
Oh, Anne. Hello, Anne. Anne did, gosh, Anne, you took on board so much stuff on that pro-stitcher. I hope it's managed to filter down and you've been able to put some of it into practice.
We've got Joe Pike, Di Bell. Did I mention Di Bell?
Yeah, you mentioned Di.
Ellen, well, I'm going to mention Di again in a moment.
You're going to mention Di
Ellen
again?
Griffith
Ellen.
up in the Wirral.
Yes.
And last but not least, and this is why I'm going to be mentioning Di again, Kelly Klein from Lawrence, Kansas, USA.
Kelly! Oh, fabulous. I mentioned you a few times this week because we were talking about ballpoint needles. We were talking about ballpoint. And I cannot show you my completed quilt that I did with my ballpoint needles, with my ballpoint. The ballpoint needles that Kelly Klein recommends. I mean, Kelly does a lot of vintage work and she uses them for all kinds of her quilting. The light ballpoint, Schmetz light ballpoint, the SES are fantastic needles and they work exceptionally well with knits like t-shirt quilts. So the basketball shirt that I did for Pete has gone off in the post today, should be with him tomorrow.
Not this Pete.
No, different Pete. And I'm looking forward to hopefully hearing from him. I hope he likes it.
I'm going to mention Di Bell again because Di, when she was here on the course this week, specifically said that she has Kelly to thank for all that she has done on her vintage quilting since she came to the Academy all those years ago.
Yes. And have you heard what she's doing in terms of talks and things, Pete?
She didn't tell me much about that, but she did mention she was doing that.
Yeah, so we will share your website, Di, when you've got more details or when it's all up and running, let me know. We'll share it on our Facebook page so people can check it out and maybe book you for talks or whatever on vintage quilting. Inspired by Kelly Klein. This is the impact that Kelly has had. And I know, Kimmy Bruner as well. And I mean, actually, what's really interesting is the impact of different styles of quilting and quilters who are teaching that have come perhaps to us in the UK or doing it on Zoom. We see those impacts on our quilters and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, how much knowledge there is within those Facebook groups like the Quilting Vintage that Kelly runs. And it's just a brilliant resource. So thank you for everything you do, Kelly. It's really appreciated in inspiring people. And say hi to Carl. Okay. So.
Right, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today, Pete?
I've got no idea, so I've just walked through the door.
He has no idea. He has absolutely no idea. So what we did was on the landscape course, Carolyn James and I discussed about putting on the Handi felting foot, which I hadn't used for a little while since I was doing Zooms on a regular basis during Facebook Lives on a regular basis and Zooms during COVID because I was playing with it in COVID. So I've actually put it on this Amara 24 and I've converted it. So I don't know whether you can show Pete some of the pieces or the bits that you get when you get a felting foot. So we convert it basically, and some people might have the embellisher, which is basically like a felting machine. But if you haven't got one of those, you can convert your Amara, Simply, Sweet, whatever,
Avanti.
Except for an Infinity, I'm afraid.
And probably not Moxie either for the same reason as the Infinity.
No, it has got the same stitch plate. It's in different orientation.
I wondered if it was the orientation that might also make
No,
a
it's
difference.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay because it's got two holes.
Yeah.
So it's actually, in fact, it mentions
Okay.
it in the instructions.
Fine.
So you can twist this round, and the hole, you can orient the hole so that it goes through that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it says on here, except to infinity. So although that probably predates it, but actually it's fine. So this is the original stitch plate. All right. So it's just got a little hole in the middle for our straight stitch, and this one has got 2 holes. And if I just rotate the hand wheel here, you'll see that going down. So it's got 5 needles on here. Up to 5 can be put onto the felting foot assembly. You take off your regular foot, you take off I take out the needle, and you take out the screw that holds the needle in place. And you assemble this, which comes in pieces, and you assemble it and then leave it loose so that you can screw it on to here. And it's tapered so that it stays on here because it's got like a bit that's a bit thicker at the bottom where the needle plate screw goes, the needle clamp screw goes in. Most important thing is that when you've assembled it is that going to the back of the machine, you just make sure that your needles don't hit anything like the stitch plate. So don't do needle down, needle up until you've tested that out. All the instructions are in the kit, or you can watch the video. There's a YouTube video that Handi Quilter have done which shows you exactly how to do it. You take out your bobbin case as well. And what else do we do? What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else really important. I forgot what it was. Now, oh yeah, I was going to show you the needles. So what are felting needles? Felting needles, you get 3 sets, 3 sizes in the kit. 36 gauge, 38 gauge, and 40 gauge. So you get quite a few needles in each of these little tubes.
So this all comes in the standard kit?
This all comes in the standard kit. And you can get more of these. Now, the thing about a felting needle is they have like 3 sides to them, and they have barbs. So they have little cutouts that hold on to the felt. So when it goes down through the felted thing that you're doing, it actually catches those fibres and takes them through to the back, which enables it to be held in place. So I will show you what I mean. So this has been, if you could have a look, Pete, at this bit here. I've done some quite close to the edge. So this bit here, which I felted, which is a bit of silk roving, has actually gone through and is held in place. I've used a piece of regular cotton, but I've put some felt on top of it, which can take quite dense stitching, which is what you need. You don't want it to fall apart. I'm not an expert in felting, so I'm only going to give you just a few ideas of what you can do, because so many of our customers are way more creative than I am, and will probably take this and fly. So the kind of things that you can use on here, I'll just show you some examples of bits and pieces that you can use. So this is some beautiful hand-dyed wool felt. This is standard, like a poly felt. I don't think it's made of cotton or anything, or wool rather. This is the same, and some more of that. And what's interesting is even these scraps, we can even use these bits of scraps and felt them and just sort of manipulate them and change them. So I'm going to show you how we do that. You can also use, like this is some wool that you would normally knit with, and I've laid some of that down and I've just put that in place like around here to create an edge to that. There we go. So that can be used. Silk or wool roving, you can tease it apart. You can use tweezers to hold it in place while you stitch over it. So we can mix, for example, this is silk and this is a bit of wool roving. It came in a bag, very, really not expensive stuff. I got it from one of the mills. I can't remember which mill shop it was, but anyway, that came like this, quite bright colours. It's a mixed pack. We sell it at Cotton Patch. I don't know where it's from, but because I can't remember. It's a while ago since I got it. But the thing about this is you can mix these colours together, and it makes really interesting combination effects. You could have it in manual mode. You can have it in regulated mode. So I've got it in 12 stitches per inch and 250 on continuous. So I'm just going to show you that, but also I've done it in manual mode as well. And I press start.
Let me try and show you what's going on here.
You can see I'm just going over it, mixing, and look how amazing that looks. So just that mixed on top of that purple creates a really beautiful contrast. Love that. So I'm just going to go up here. I know I'm the edge of the grey, but it doesn't matter really, because it's the brown that's more important. So if I wanted to come down, lay a little bit more and just kind of phase it out, I'm just going to prise it apart and then just go over that. And there we go. So I've just got a nice little bit of fading out here. This just looks like it's sort of, I love that. Don't know what it looks like, but it looks great. So I can put down, let's just show you how you put down a leaf. If I put one here. Okay. So I can hold it, use tweezers. It's better than, I mean, this is incredibly safe because you would be doing really, really well to get your fingers underneath there and get stabbed by the felting needles, to be honest. Because look, you'd never get them under there. So I'm just going to go around close to the edge and then work up to the tip.
So that's secure now.
That's secure, yeah, and I'm just now going to go over it. Let me just show you the difference in manual mode. So this is in manual mode, 475. So that works as well. I don't know which I prefer. And it's not loud like the embellisher. Everybody who got one said, yeah, it's really loud. Whereas this just sounds like, that's actually quite a quiet machine, isn't it? Because it's not got the bobbin case in it. So that's what it looks like, just sort of, you know, stitched down, whatever. But what if I were to add a little bit of purple? Let's just stick a bit of purple on here. I've got some lovely bits here of silk.
So I think we're actually out of stock of the these feet at the moment, or this kit, because we have had those landscape classes this week, and this of course appeals to those people who are quite creative. And so I think we sold out of these.
I think we have.
So
we'll get
drop us
some more.
an email if you're interested, and I'll get them in on our next delivery.
See how thick that looks? Okay, but look what happens. It becomes really subtle. Just put a bit more on the bottom, and if you want a bit more, you can just layer it over again. So let's do that. And then I'm just going to prise that off. You could use a pair of scissors if you wanted just to take it off, but I'm just going to do that and then pop that over the top like this. I've done the contrast just so you can see. I don't know whether I'd aesthetically choose to put that colour on top of there, but I could lay down some more, like these little bits where I've cut out other pieces. Look, I can just put these one on top of another. Just come down here, hold that in place. You have to think about what way it's going to move. You see, it's kind of gone up into my thing here. If I just move that away.
Yeah, so you sort of need to secure the edges first, don't you?
That's right. But you can, instead of going in that direction, what I probably will do is go in from the middle.
Yeah.
And then up to what will be a more sort of precise little bit. So going in one direction will probably be best. Like that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and then I put this like that. I think I'm going to do it so it stops with the needle up, actually. I'm just going to do this one. So again, I'm going to go from here up, come round. See, that works quite well, almost like a zigzag at the edges. Just play with it. There ain't no rules. Well, not many rules. And go round and along that bit there. Look at that. Fab. There we go. It's kind of random.
I think that gives a good sense, though, of what you can achieve.
Yeah, I'm just showing you techniques. It's not going to be for anything in particular. But, you know, I really love this green with this sort of darker green on top. The fact that you can kind of fan it out and just get it as dense as you want. Makes it, it does make it very much a fun thing, rather like the class on Wednesday. So these are some of the samples. I mean, whoops, nearly fell over there. We did all kinds of stuff. We did couching. I'm going to do a little video that shows some of the couching that people did, because there was all kinds of different yarns, thicknesses, etc. being used with the couching feet. Some with couching feet on the domestic machines, and then couching feet with the Handi Quilters. And we did all kinds of wicked stuff like this. Look at that. I mean, you just want to play with that, don't you? For a landscape. It's brilliant.
So would your cat.
Brilliant. Yes. Yes. Oh, by the way, this is something I picked up from Worcestershire Resource Exchange. I think they're still going. I got this just the year after COVID, and they were at Malvern Quilt Show, and it's like, it's wool. It's a beautiful wool that will be brilliant as the basis for something like this felting needle foot. Okay, and it's in beautiful colours like that. And in fact, I found a set that were pinhole quilting colours. Just had to be done, that one. I've got stuff all over the place, Pete. Look, I'm just getting into a right mess in here. Let's get messy. So that's the felting foot. If you've not seen it in action before, there are a few YouTube videos on it, but not that many. I think when I Googled it on YouTube, I found I was the fourth one, so there aren't that many. But just have a play with it, and I look forward to seeing the results of those who bought it at the landscape class. So these are the samples that Carolyn did for the landscape class that caused it to be booked in a day. Booked in a day, and we played with all kinds of things like foil, organza, net, all kinds of things. Stitching, using couching, layering up, and it was just great fun. It was great fun. Don't overthink it. For those people who aren't used to sort of not being precise, there was a little bit more challenging, but actually they came through good in the end, didn't they, Pete?
Yes, but you don't have to be artistic, do you?
You don't have to be artistic. You don't.
No.
You really don't. We can't hang that. Right, so that's landscape.
So landscape. Sold out very quickly. It was very popular. Several of the people on the course said that they would come to another one if we ran it again. Are we running it again?
Yes, we're running it again.
When?
Oh, I haven't got the date in front of me.
Why not?
I'll have to let you know. He's going, oh dear. So we finished the landscape class on Wednesday. Carolyn, Pete and I had a little chat. We went out in the evening. That was nice. Little chat with Carolyn. And then we did the workshop yesterday. Karen and I were a little bit tired by then, weren't we, Carolyn? And then this morning, I had two lovely ladies visit for a demo. And then Pete came through the door, and now we're now. So it's been quite a busy day. So I haven't actually got it written down, Pete.
Is it in the diary?
It's in the diary.
Oh, which month?
Carolyn?
You can't even remember which month. Help me out here, somebody. Right.
Do you want to give me your phone? I'll have a look. Okay. Right, I'm going to move on to the next thing. We'll put it up on our Facebook page, okay? So you can start reserving the time, booking the kennels, making sure the grandchildren aren't staying, booking the time off work. Painting. We're going to do a painting one as well, aren't we? We're going to do painting and we're going to do landscape. I really, really want to see the painting one. We saw lots of painting demos, didn't we? Painting on fabric. Actually, I watched a lot of painting demos at the Quilt Festival over in Houston, Texas. Right, Pete, should we move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on. We're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to move on to a Moxie. So last week we mentioned that we've got some fantastic deals and we've got some lovely people coming up for showroom demos. If you would like to be one of those people, just get in touch. Email us quilt@pinhillquilting.co.uk. We've got £1,000 off the Sweet 16. Great little machine. We love it. Insight table with that, still £1,000 off. The Capri we've got on clearance. So £1,500 off that. The Moxie, we've got fantastic, £500 off. That was the launch price. That's back to the launch price, and the dollar is not great since then, is it? So, so that's a good deal. On the loft frame or the little foot frame. And the Simply 16, we've got that on the loft frame or the little foot frame, and it includes a little buddy if you have it with the Simply 16. So some absolutely wonderful bargains there. Well, but I say bargains, a considered purchase, but they are better than the standard pricing till the end of November. Very, very important that you act now, and with a deposit of, let me just get my terms and conditions back.
£500.
£500 is Pete. £500 non-refundable deposit by the 30th of November and the balance 14 days before delivery or installation. For these very special offers, delivery or installation by the 28th of November, 28th of February 2024. There is a supplement if you're in the Highlands or Islands, and over in Ireland as well. If you want us to install it for you, just let us know. We'll give you a quote. Most of it's self-install. Oh, Pete's found it. Well, I was yakking away. Oh, 9th to 10th of July. It's a painting and a landscape. 1 day painting, 1 day landscape, 2 days back to back, 9th and 10th of July. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be nice and warm. As Carolyn said, I said, it gets quite warm in here in July. It can get very warm in here in July. She said, oh, that's good. The paint will dry quicker. Fantastic. Let's go over and play on a Moxie. We've got a Moxie over here that is not threaded up because I thought, what could possibly be nicer than this time of year than having a bit of glitter? One of the things we teach on the foundation workshop, I'm just going to have a little slurp of my tea, is how to use metallic thread.
Yeah,
so
I installed an Amara yesterday, and the new owner was quite a creative person, and I mentioned glisten thread from
yes,
Amara,
yeah.
and she was surprised and delighted that you can use it very happily on Handi Quilter machines.
Yes, you can, and I think it's one of the things that part of the confidence level of the people who came on Tuesday and Thursday. It's enhanced by the fact that if you use something that's more difficult than you thought you could do, then quilting with something like Glide is like a walk in the park. So we do, yesterday we went through very fine thread, 60, 80 or 100 weight with a 14 needle. We went through very thick threads. One of the ladies on the sit down on the Sweet 16, she was using a 12 weight thread. And I mean, we had, and on Tuesday, of course, when you were here, we had Kate, didn't we? Kate does a lot of landscape. She does classes and things. And gosh, she was doing fabulous stuff with both quilting in reverse. So we hand wound. I showed her how we hand wind onto the bobbin and had it coming up through the hole in the bobbin case so that you couch it, doesn't go through the layer to come to the top. And I showed her how we do that with, I think we use 60 weight Glide in the top. So if you're interested in any of those things and you're thinking about a long arm, this is the kind of thing you can learn. This is what we teach you.
Yeah, so Francesca yesterday with her new Amara used to work in a shop that had a different brand of Longarm.
Oh yeah.
And she said it only worked with one type of thread, which is why she was...
See, I'd be very disappointed if that were the case. Right, I'm going to put an 18 needle in here. I've put a net. I'll show you the net in a second, and why we use it is because we don't want the thread to just puddle down. I did have a magnet. Where's my magnet? There it is. Masquerading as part of my scissors. Okay, so I'm putting my needle in, which is a size 18 needle. We match the needle to the thread. and I'm going to use the magnet. Look what happens if it's not in straight. Oh, that was very useful. The last couple of foundation workshops. Right, not in straight. I'm going to move it around until it's pointing at me.
So this little needle magnet that we sell points in the direction that the needle should point, which is directly towards you.
Yep.
And helps you align it.
And it's brilliant because, yeah, we had, one of the ladies was using 100-weight thread. I popped the magnet on her needle and it was probably at about 25 and it was shredding it. She changed it and didn't have any more shredding. There we go. It works really well. So let's just look at the thread net. I'll just take this off here again. So we use the thread net because not only metallic thread, but also very fine threads, something like an invisible thread, like a monopoly or something, it's also worth using a thread net with. We've got thread nets on our website.
No, but we do have some.
We need to get them on the website, Pete. Okay, and this thread net's really good because it kind of compresses around the thread but doesn't hold it too tight. And it just means that when it dispenses the thread that you need and doesn't end up with excess. So if you're having a problem with that, with maybe even with something like glide thread, consider using a thread net.
So Graham, yes, you put the needle directly, directly onto the needle, and it sits on that groove that goes down the front of the needle and therefore tells you exactly which direction the groove is pointing in. Yeah, let me get a bit closer then, and you can see I'll stand square onto the machine. So this is what you want to see. The magnet is sitting directly on the needle and it's pointing directly towards me, so we know it's in exactly the right position. It's just a strong little cylindrical magnet.
Oh, do you see how there's a shadow? Look.
I do.
That's quite useful, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a bit like
of the lights above the needle.
It's a bit like those people who came on Thursday and on Wednesday that have a Mini. Have you seen the Minis at night? How the lights show the logo of the Mini by the driver's door on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like that. Right, die. There we go. So this is how we're going to thread it up. When you thread up a metallic thread, we put it through just... Oh dear. Is mine okay?
Yes.
Okay. Oh dear. Yeah, just you're going to resync it.
Yeah, I've just reset my mic, so hopefully that'll be okay.
Yeah, hopefully that's better now. Let Pete know if you still can't hear him. You could talk, Pete.
I talked immediately. I'd reset it. So
you think it resets? Okay. So what I do every time I put the thread through the machine, the first thing I do is check that I've got the right sort of tension. There's no point in starting to stitch until I've ascertained that. Gosh, it's Friday afternoon and I'm using words like ascertained. If I want it a little bit tighter, I'm going to turn it away from me or looser counterclockwise or towards me. And I do that until I'm confident that I'm in a good starting point. As you get more proficient at that and used to your machines, you'll find that you can get really close to getting the tension right. I'm laying down a gauntlet here because I'm about to show you live on Facebook. So we're going to know whether that works or not. Okay. Right, test it again when you've put it through the take-up lever, because it does put even more pressure on it. Don't forget to take your magnet off. Put it through the little guide above the needle and then through the needle itself. On the Moxie it's quite nice actually because you've got it sideways on. It means you can actually really thread the needle very easily, and then putting the end of the metallic thread down the groove, it feeds into the eye of the needle. I'm just going to check that my bobbin thread is okay. Bear in mind that this is one of the class machines and I have no idea what's in the bobbin. Okay, there's a bit of grey thread in there. That's Deco Bob. It looks a bit tight. I'm going to loosen that off a bit. I know it's nearly empty, but I still need to loosen it off a little bit. Because I think even if it wasn't, that's a little tight. Whoop. When you put the bobbin in the bobbin case, you can check that you've got it in the right way round by pulling on the bobbin and making sure it rotates clockwise. So just do that. Do it over. Oh, there we go. I'm happy with that. Because it's metallic thread, I really don't want it tight. And not live on Facebook, because that's just asking for trouble, isn't it? Big click. Should I do the test stitching over here, Pete? Closest to you.
Yeah, makes it easier.
Yeah. So I'm going to do needle down, needle up. Let's move that basket. Thank you. Let's just, oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really thirsty actually. It's all the talking I've been doing. Moxie, my settings, I've got it on continuous. I'm going to change that slightly. I'm going to make it slightly slower. Minus and plus together goes to the menu. Select the setting with needle down. Do it again, and I'm just going to make that 150. Minus and plus takes us back to the same starting menu. Make sure it pulls out the bobbin thread. That's always a good sign. And just check that your bobbin thread is flowing before you continue. And then a few stitches in place. And sometimes you can hear it if it's a problem. There's a few little free motion designs to have a look at.
You don't really pick up the sparkle effect so well on the camera, I don't think, but it's
very sparkly from where I am.
It's very Christmassy.
Very Christmassy. So testing the tension, what I would do, obviously I'd do it on a separate piece. I can feel a little bit of the, so what I can hear, I'm running my fingernail along the back of the stitching. I can hear it's a little loose. So I'm going to do a bit more and then I'll show you. Right, just check it again. That feels a little bit better. So let's have a look. The proof of the pudding. Just going to cut that off so that we can see it properly. Loosen off this. Okay, so what I can see is it really was too loose here, but I'd rather be too loose on my test than too tight and have it break. It's still too loose. On these corners, what I've actually got is like a flat bobbin thread, and the top thread is so loose that it's actually causing almost like a ladder effect. So what we do is we go back to the top. Oops, that's just the cloth. There's leaders, there's leader grips. Just gonna put this back on as well. So I'm going to turn it.
Half a turn?
That was 3/4 of a turn. But again, I'm just going to check. Yeah, I don't want it to break, so even after I've done it like that, okay, let's have another look. I'm going to loosen this front one instead. There we go. Perfect.
It's looking good.
That's really good. Excellent. And again, now I can't feel, with my fingernail, I'm not making like a little noise, which it was before, which is this sort of me running my fingernail along the metallic. So metallic threads are a really nice way to add a bit of a Christmassy feel to your quilts. And if you want to do things like a table runner, that would be great. We've got some metallic threads up here, haven't we, Pete? Do you want to just check those out? Okay.
So Glide's range of metallics is called Glisten, and it comes in, it's about 15 different colours, I think. 3 or 4 different golds, 2 or 3 different silvers, and then there's a pale lilac. Some of the golds.
I think that's 16 different colours.
16, okay. And there's some variegateds as well
They're
here. Look.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. That blue is amazing. Look at this. Absolutely incredible, that one. Look at that.
But not all metallics are the same, are they?
They're not. So it depends what the core is. And glisten is rayon in the middle, isn't it? I think I'm right in saying.
I think it is,
rayon.
yeah.
It's on the shade card, actually. Well, it certainly used to be. So glisten, yeah, it's a metallic wrapped rayon. So the difference between the rayon and you might have like a polyester, the rayon is very, very flexible. And I find that it works incredibly well. So, not all metallics are the same. Once I've adjusted that tension, generally I find there's very, very few issues. But the good thing is that even though we've got a variety of metallics that we use here at the showroom in our foundation workshop, I don't know that there's a problem with any of them. We've got all of them to work. So it's about getting your bobbin tension set. Once that's set, then you're adjusting your top tension. Top tension, that's not easy to say. And basically, that's it. So have a play. There's some samples that I've got over there where I actually also did Ricky Tim's Razzle Dazzle, hand wound in the bobbin with metallic on the top. That was a Superior Threads metallic. But, like I say, you can use any of the metallics. You should be able to be just fine. So
Lorraine in Northern Ireland says that she's had no problem micro quilting with it.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Lorraine. And it was great to see Lorraine when we were over in Belfast, wasn't it? And I'm now on that mailing list for the artists that you shared with me, Lorraine, so it's brilliant. So there we go. I think from my point of view, that was really what I wanted to share with you today. We've got those offers, Purple Friday offers throughout November, not just Fridays. And we've got some really good offers on those machines, the 4 machines, the Suite 16, which is a sit-down machine, 16-inch throat space, either with the insight table or the standard table. We've got it on discounts on the Capri, some really deep discounts on the Capri in the insight table. And we've also got the movable machines, so the Moxie, £500 off, and the Simply 16, 1,250, I think, isn't it? I've left the sheet over there. And Pete's going, I'm not surprised. You're probably brain dead from all the driving. Yeah. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you next weekend. We're going to be seeing a few customers, aren't we? On Monday, we're seeing a few people en route.
We are.
We're going to Suffolk, and we're seeing one person on the way and 3 people on the way back. Got to make most of these journeys. And then Pete's off to the northeast.
Well, I've got an installation relatively close by in Worcestershire on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then I'm driving up doing servicing an Infinity and servicing another machine and doing an installation near York as well.
And in fact, the customer that you're servicing her Infinity, the lady who's here, Kate, on Tuesday, that was...
yes.
Her ex Sweet 16.
Yes.
It's a small world. It's a small world. So we find so many people know each other. It's incredible. And that's, as I was saying, that's a big part of meeting people. If you haven't used your foundation workshop free place up, I'll be putting them up on the website next week for February. And I can't remember the date offhand. I'm really sorry about this. It's just we went from literally seeing some customers and then speaking to a customer and then straight into Facebook Live. Normally I get the dates down written on a piece of paper, but we'll be getting those up on the website, and I'll be sending an email about those dates. So if you haven't taken advantage, please do. I know it's an investment in time, and probably you might even have to stay over if you're coming from a long way, but I promise you that you will learn a lot about your machine, and hopefully it'll be the foundation, literally, for your long arm learning curve. Fantastic.
And you'll meet some other very nice people too. You
will, because they're our customers, and they're lovely. Look at that video that I took of Carolyn. Look what lovely customers we have. You could be one of our customers too. Okay, well, bye to all our existing customers. Hello to our potential customers, and have fun. All of those people are having their machines installed by Pete in the next week. Enjoy, and very happy quilting.